Son. Yeah, I have to forgive my son. My son's in the background. I don't know, being a turd or whatever. But I wasn't planning on um, doing a live today. But for whatever reason, I got notification on my Facebook page. I shared a post on my Facebook page, and someone. Hold on for a second. Okay. Sorry about that. Apparently, my son, he's 2 years old. So I called his brother earlier, so he thought it would be funny to mimic me. So he's probably going to be doing it for a while. So y'all just bear with me. But anyway, I was sitting here working on my RC cars. You guys can, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is my RC car. This is my personal studio and within my home. So I come in here and I work, do my videos, do my RC cars, do my artwork. But I was, I guess I was just flipping through my Facebook page and I seen someone made a comment about a post that I put up. So I'm going to share it with you guys. And this is what this video is going to be about. This is what this video is going to be about. So let me just share my screen here. So this is the post that I shared. I just shared it, which nothing about this post is a lie. The only thing that people don't like about this particular post is that it seems as though I'm in support of Donald Trump, right? So when you see the gas prices, this is not a lie. These are factual numbers, right? So on the left, we have Donald Trump, what gas prices was like when Donald Trump was president. On the right, you have what gas prices are now that Joe Biden is president. Now, I've been having a lot of people say to me that the president has no control over oil prices. And it is a half truth. Okay? Now, I just put this up here. I thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny. Most people rightly agree with me. They thought it was funny too. See the little ha comments, right? So this person, whom I know, and seems to want to challenge me every time I put up a post. So let me go ahead and just read this comment, because I really want to let you know when you say stuff that people don't agree with, or it seems like you're not for lack of a better word, you're not in agreement with the person, or your viewpoints don't line up with theirs. There's always this challenge, right? So here's what it started off. Now, mind you, I just shared this. This is not mine. It says someone needs to educate you on how gas pricing works. The president has very little control over the worldwide spot market. It's all about supply and demand. That old economics course you should have taken in school. Now, mind you, look at these insults now. That's the problem with entitled Americans nowadays. They believe that their ignorance should be something to be proud of instead of a badge of shame. Now, I try to respect my elders, but I've come to the conclusion that even ignorant elders can receive that old lightsaber. So here's my response to him. I said, I didn't see your response until now. But if you would like to debate me, I have a podcast in which you are more than welcome to come on. Secondly, I don't think I'm the one that needs to be educated. I know all about supply and demand. And I also know that there are certain policies that affect the flow of the supply, plus the market speculation about how much supply will be available to meet those demands. The Biden administration cut our production, and our production output should be outlook as soon as he stepped into office. Canceling the pipeline and closing federal lands for drilling affects the overall outlook and projection of how much supply will be available. I would strongly suggest before you call someone ignorant, you be more knowledgeable on that particular subject matter. And I would suggest you remove biasness towards any party and realign with Yah's word. Because this person is supposed to be a man of God. I don't understand how you can be this is just me. I don't understand how you could be a man of God or a woman of God for that matter and support the Democratic Party. I don't care what hang-ups you have with the Republican Party. And I don't even care if you're, I'm not a Republican myself, I'm an independent. But I just don't understand how could a particular party make so many policies that are completely and utterly ungodly and yet you be in support of that party. It would seem to me that you are a bit schizophrenic. So let me get back to educating this person. Right? So let me get back to educating this person. Now, when President Obama was in office, he took office in, I want to say, January 2008. So this is President Obama's when he took office. Now, that is not his doing. That is not President Obama's doing. That is the doing of President Bush. Right? And at that point in time, we was going through a Great Recession. Right? We started going through the Great Recession around the end of the campaign season. So this is when the gas prices started to increase, when we started going through the Great Recession. And if you go a little further, the economy was starting to stall. But even throughout President Bush's tenure, look at the gas prices. He took over in February 2001, right? So then what we have happened, September 2001, we had September 11th happen. But look at Bush's overall. His gas prices didn't start to climb really dramatically until around 2005, which is when we went to war, and we went to war in Iraq in 2003. That's when the gas prices started to climb around 2000. No, I'm sorry. Was it 2003? Yeah. So you start to see them slowly climb, right? Because that was a destabilization of an oil-rich country. So you start to see that be affected, right? Again, supply and demand. Now, but the policies that President Bush had in place in the United States kept gas prices low. I think the national average, the highest national average that he has in his tenure is when he was a lame duck president, right? So that was around the campaign season. The campaign season officially started, end of 2006. So he officially started becoming a lame duck president. right? So you see the gas prices. And this is when the Great Recession happened. So President Obama gets into office, right? This is the gas prices, right? But mind you, look what happened in November of 2008. Gas prices fell. Gas prices fell because Americans, we had went through the Great Recession. There was a lot of loss of jobs. So we wasn't using as much oil. And the economy went through a Great Recession. President Obama came up with the CAF standards. That meant that American companies, American automotive companies had to produce, their vehicle fleet average had to average at 35.5, I think, by 2022. So he came up with the CAF standards, which coincidentally, when President Trump came into office, he wrote them back. Now, let's skip to, because we're comparing Joe Biden to Donald Trump. So let's skip down to the Trump presidency, which started in, I want to say, the beginning of, I want to say, when did I want to say 2000, let's just say January 2017, right? He came in office and he did away with a lot of Obama era federal land policies when it comes to drilling. It reinstituted the Keystone Pipeline. There were certain things that he couldn't do because, you know, Obama made them kind of permanent. But notice the entire time during Donald Trump's presidency, that's from 2017 or 16 to 20. Notice in his presidency, 2016 to 2019, 2020, right? That's the Trump presidency. The overall average of oil in America, or gasoline, never climbed above $3. Never climbed above $3. I'm showing you factual numbers. Never climbed above $3. Now look what happened when Joe Biden took president in 2021. Look what happened. The president took office in January 2021. By May, gas was over $3. And the national average has never dropped below $3. Hasn't dropped below $3. Look at this. Okay. Let me stop my screen sharing. I just want you guys to see this. It never dropped below $3 since May of 2021. Now, the whole Trump presidency never went above $3. Only the first 3 months of Joe Biden's presidency, only first 4 months of Joe Biden's presidency, let's just say 3, because Trump was in office until like the 22nd of January. So let's just say the first 3 months of Joe Biden's presidency, did we see a national average of below $3? And ever since then, it's been above $3. Right? Look at them. Almost $3.50. Since November of 2021, gas has been at $3.50. Almost $3.50. Let me stop the sharing. So, to say that a president and a president's policies doesn't have an effect on oil prices is a flat out lie. A president's policies can directly affect oil prices because his policies can dampen the flow of the supply of oil. And he's right, supply and demand. And I've never debated that supply and demand didn't exist. But if you don't have enough supply and the demand is too high, it's going to drive oil prices up. So how do we get supply to meet the demand? Well, what Donald Trump was doing was open up federal lands, on and offshore drilling. Okay, and he had the Keystone Pipeline. Just that alone projected us to have billions and billions of dollars of oil, gallons of oil available, projecting it in the future. So it caused the overall value of oil to lower. That's how policy has an effect on your gas prices. Now, Joe Biden put policies in place that directly went against that directly limited the supply of oil. It reduced America's production of oil. Him and President Obama did something similar, but Obama went about it more intelligently and smart. What Obama did is says, okay, if I reduce the production of oil coming from America, that's going to drive the prices up. That's what Obama said. Even though Obama had certain restrictions on federal lands too. He did. That's very true. Obama did, but he also did something that projected that we would be using far less oil. And what he did is he placed the CAF standards in place that meant that overall the fleet-wide average for automobile miles per gallon had to increase to 35.5. Before Obama put that policy in place, the average car company's fleet was only averaging about 22.5 gallons a mile. MPG. So when you go from 22 to 35, inherently you're using less oil. And that's how Obama managed to keep his oil's prices low. But that's policy. That's how policy affects it. He didn't want to open up federal lands, so he passed a policy that affected we still was going to be using less oil. That's what he did. Okay, and he was correct. We started to use less oil because the cars became more fuel efficient. That's why he managed to keep his prices around the same place during his presidency, between $2 and $2 and $3 a gallon. Right? When Trump came into place, Trump actually reversed the CAF standards, and he opened federal lands up and signed on to the completion of the Keystone Pipeline. Okay, and what that did is increase production. So when you increase production, you automatically lower the value of oil, because you're saying we're going to make sure we have enough supply to meet the demand. That's what you're saying, but I should have took an economics class. Maybe you need to educate yourself more in American politics and the way the American economy works. Because we live in I'm not going to even say a capitalistic society. We live in a neo-capitalistic society. Because a true capitalistic society, it lets the market decide. The market is supposed to decide the value of something. That's capitalism. Okay? I offer the better product, so you patronize me. Because my product is more superior than your product, I'm going to win. I'm going to get wealthy. It's made the best man win. That's capitalism. Another part of capitalism is letting the market decide. But we don't live in that type of environment. No country does, because every country passes policies that affects the market. So when you have an abundance of something that could be available to you, and you restrict whether it can be available, it cuts supply down. And it causes the increase in value of something. If you really want to know, I can give you a perfect example right now on the market of supply and demand, which is this 2020 to 2020 on up Chevy Corvette. Because there have been chip shortages, the Corvette You right. You right. What's going on, man? Hey, man, I ain't seen you in a minute, man. What's been up? What you been up to, man? What's going on? But yeah, you right. If we keep it in the buck, we gonna be, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying, because this dude came on my Facebook page trying to insult me, so I gotta educate this young man to what the American economy is supposed to be like. So if you really want to know how the market value is supposed to work, oh man, congrats, bro. I know we talked about that, man. Congrats, man. When is it? Well, you hit me up. We'll talk about that. But man, congratulations, man. I'm glad you got all the details and everything ironed out, man. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations. But you want to join the panel, man? You want to join the panel, or you just hearing what I got to say? Let me know. I'll send you a link. Oh, okay. Man, I wish I could come, man. I really did. I really do. I love what you're doing. I love weddings. I love true marriages. I'm gonna say it like that. But that's a different topic. that's a different topic. But okay, I got you. I seen the link. I got you. I got you. No problem, man. I wasn't trying to make this a long stream. I just want to educate real quick. But I do got another topic that I'm getting ready to do a little later. I don't know if it's going to be a live stream or a pre-recorded video. Yeah. But I'm gonna say this real quick before Ishmael joins the panel. But if you want to know how it's supposed to work, the Chevy Corvette has been out. The new C8 Corvette has been out since 2020, and I went to order me a Corvette. Right, I went to put the down payment on. I can't get it for another 2 years. Right, and if you try to buy one from a dealership, more than likely you're going to pay double what that car is worth, because it's in such demand and there's not enough supply to meet the demand. Dealers are able to charge, well, a car's supposed to be $60,000 for just a base. They're able to charge twice that. So that's supply and demand. Anytime there's a limited supply, and there's more demand, the value of that particular item is always going to skyrocket. It's always going to double, right? And we drew 8% of our oil from Russia, right? And we don't have to. We didn't have to. We just do it. You know what I'm saying? Because what we were trying to do, what the Biden administration was trying to do, the Biden administration was trying to, decrease, I guess, global warming, but they went about it wrong, right? And it's more to it. It's more nuances to it. But basically, that's what they were trying to do. What's going on, Mr. Ishmael?
Peace.
Man, what's going on, brother?
The rent, man. Ain't nothing going on but the rent.
But first off, let me say congratulations, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, we got the terms all straightened out. So, yeah, man. It's. I'm happy, bro.
Man,
I'm in a good space right now, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm happy for you, man. I'm praise God. I'm
happy. Nothing can steal this joy I got, bro.
Nothing. So when did y'all come to terms with everything?
Last week.
Oh man, I know you said you guys were still talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know how it goes, with bride prices and stuff like that, like dowries and whatnot. There's a great deal of negotiation between the families and such, and my pops passed away, 2 years ago, or going on 3 years now. And so my uncle, you know, in Islam, there's something called, well, there's this concept of like a wali, protect,
Mm-hmm.
like someone kind of to mediate. That's a higher representative of the family. I could
Right.
speak to your character and different things and kind of vouch
Right.
for you. So my uncle, I had to call down to Virginia. We had to set up conference calls and tech issues and, you know, everything. It took some time or whatever, but we got it sorted out, And so she's happy, I'm happy, everybody happy. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm happy. I'm happy for you, man. When you said it, when I say I ain't seen you in a while, and you threw up the wedding plans, man, you should have seen my
Yeah,
face light up. Man, I was like,
yeah,
man,
man.
I'm happy for you, man. I really am. I'm ecstatic for you, man. Oh man,
Once
congratulations.
everything got sorted out, she was already she was already on mark. She just needed the gun to go off. So she once the gun went off, she calling and what about this and what about that? I'm like, yo, like calm down.
Right,
So she
right.
was ready. She had everything ready, lined up, you know. So it's just been a matter of like trying to build with her, and it's like, I'm at the point where I'm like, whatever it is that you want, man, because I'm way out of my league on this. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I try to contribute and chime in. Obviously, they want us to participate in it, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end of it, at the end of the day, I'm like, I just need to know where to be. Like,
Right, 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 right.
I
But
just need to know where to be.
let me ask you. Well, let me say this. It's such it on the continent, and when
Yeah,
you take a wife the way you're taking a wife, it's such a highly celebrated thing, and it's still a thing of an honor for a woman to be selected as a bride.
yeah,
So I know she's super excited because I know when my wife and I, was having to negotiate and come up with terms, and she was elated and she was elated, man, and I was just like you, like, okay, where am I going to be at? You know what I'm saying? Because on him, we had to get a lot of things and stuff like that, and
hold
it's
on,
just,
can you
man, I'm
hear me?
just,
I think I fell out of the chat. I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear
no,
you.
I hear you, fine.
Let me see. Probably hit something.
I hear
I
you
had to hit a
perfectly fine,
button or
man.
something. So I can't hear you no more.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I hear you. I can hear you.
Let me come out and come back in because
Okay.
I hit a
Uh,
button and I think I knocked myself out. I'll come
okay,
back
no
in.
problem. Okay. But yeah, brother getting married to a beautiful, beautiful woman. Um, Happy, man. I'm happy. You see my face. I get happy when I hear stuff like that. I get really happy. So, yeah. Can't stop smiling, man. I'm excited for him. I can't stop smiling. I'm super excited for him. All right, can you hear me
Yeah, I'm
now?
back. Yeah, I can hear you now. But when
Yeah, I
you were
don't know
saying
what.
with you and your wife, and you was negotiating and everything, you were speaking to that.
Yeah, man, it was kind of more or less like he had to have because my family couldn't make it to they couldn't make it to Nigeria, so I had to have a family, my friend's family actually, they stood in for me,
Yeah, yeah.
and so we had to have the formal introduction and all of that, and it was just it's a beautiful experience, man. Like
It
it
is.
is an amazing experience, and it makes you know that you're doing something that's special. You
Absolutely.
know, it's not like going to
Absolutely.
the courthouse and getting married or just you know we're doing something amazing and we're doing something special, and it's a
Yeah.
celebration. So I'm happy for you, man. I
Appreciate it,
really
man.
am. I can't stop smiling, bro. It's like
How
I'm
you
like,
think
oh my
I've
goodness.
been, man?
Yeah.
I've been ear to ear. I go to work. People's like, "What's wrong with you?" Because I'm real stoic in the face. You know what I mean? But I've been
Mm-hmm.
smiling, doing cartwheels down the hallway, buying buying people lunch and stuff.
Wow.
Like, you want some lunch? You want some coffee? What's up? But yeah,
Right.
man, you know, I'm gonna have to sort out some things as well because my folks can't, you know, obviously my pops not being here in this form, in the physical form, and my mother being of a certain age and a certain health condition. You know, she wants to try it, but I don't know if I necessarily feel comfortable. You know, we'll see how it goes. But for right now, we have to kind of designate, like, handpick people from the family that's going to be able to come, and not everybody's going to be able to make it, you know, to afford that trip and stuff like that. So, well, you know, we got time, but yet we don't have time because a year is going to come and go. But inshallah, everything will work out, man. You know,
man. Like I said, I hope, man. I'm so happy for you.
Well, who you kicking?
I know
up
the
dust
logistics
with,
of it.
You kicking up dust these days. I've been watching some of the streams. I just haven't been able to jump on. I'm like, my man going around picking fights, like he coming after Kevin Samuels, like.
Man, you know what? You know what it was with the Kevin Samuel thing is that I didn't like the way he came at this particular brother, man. And it was like I had been watching certain things that he had been saying, and I'm just like, you know, you kind of recognize wolves in sheep clothing, man. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, you know. One thing about, you know, the women in the black women here is that they are always used for profit. Unknowingly and knowingly. And I recognize that. I'm like, okay, because it's like moth to a flame a lot of times when it comes to them. And even though he does more chastising to them than actually helping them on his podcast, they still keep coming back, right? And I noticed that, and I kind of noticed, like, okay, you know, just going around the manosphere space and listening to certain people, and I've been listening to certain people for a while, I'm like, man, those are their talking points. You know what I'm saying? Those are not original talking points. And then, like I said, I seen the thing where one of the content creators, cat named Angry Man, you know what I'm saying? He was out buying a new car, and he was like, man, well, y'all think I should get it? You know, yada yada this, and dude, been, you know, been grinding and been stepping up and all that. So he was able to buy his lady a Mercedes and bought him a Camaro or something like that.
Nice.
And about 3 days later, I seen Kevin Samuels doing the same exact type of video, right?
Yeah.
So I noticed that, right? And I'm like, okay, like what's that all about? Like I said, I'm an artist, so I recognize plagiarism real quick. I recognize somebody, like, when you're an artist, you have, every art style has its own signature, you know.
Sure.
So when people talk, they typically talk a certain way, so they have their own speaking, you know, vernacular. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of start to recognize certain things, even cadences. Like, you know, like I can recognize people who were trained up under Minister Farrakhan.
Yeah.
Because they kind of sound like the minister. You get what I'm saying? So I can recognize that stuff. Like I can recognize Malcolm. I mean, Minister Farrakhan kind of trained up under Malcolm because he sounds like Malcolm in a lot of ways, right? So I'm like, man, this dude here. And then when he came on that brother and was chastising that brother about not wearing suits and that we supposed to be neat and groomed and wear suits and stuff, I was like, that's it. All right, that's it.
I take it you disagree with that.
With the suits?
Well, the importance of being like presentable, neat, and I don't know the full argument, but it sounds like you have you're not a fan of. To me, it sounds like that's a form of like identity politicking for you. That's not like something that you're into.
Well, it's not the fact that, you know, that I disagree with. You have to be neat in appearance and presentation is everything too. I don't agree with that, but I disagree with the premise of being Eurocentric in it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so when you're telling someone to dress like a white man to be accepted like by the white man, I have a fundamental problem with that. And a lot of times, you know, I hear cats having that argument and they're not outright saying it, but you're implying it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's one of those things to where, you know, we couldn't wear our hair a certain way. Or sisters couldn't have their hair a certain way. Or black men had to dress a certain way. Or, you know, one of those things just to be quote unquote socially accepted, and it didn't matter because you can't change the melanin that's in your skin.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, yeah, if you're going to go to certain events, you dress the part. If you're going to a particular job that requires you to wear a suit and tie, then you dress the part. You know, you have to think about those things when the job say, hey, this is our you know, our standard as far as your hair goes. And they say if your hair can't be long and you have to cut it, that's a decision that you may have to make to say, you know what, I don't know if I can roll with this because this is too much of my identity. You know, that's a decision that you have to make. But to tell a brother that they're less than a man and they're not being men because they're not conforming to wearing a suit or wearing a crew cut.
That's rough.
That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. Yeah. Because now you're questioning a man, you know, you're questioning a man's like their manhood, and that's you're associating their manhood with their appearance, and that's highly offensive depending on who you talk to, man. Like I'm not gonna let you talk about I'm less of a man. Like, gotta be careful about the language that you use when you start saying things like that. But,
and then it was the chastising. Like you came in, you chastised, and you bounced. Like I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna sun you, and then I'm gonna bounce. You know what I'm saying?
Was this a younger cat? This was a younger cat.
It was a younger cat.
Okay.
And it seemed like to me like you're drawing down on this younger man. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, younger cats are, you know, I have young cats call me and talk to me all the time. They're not going to be as seasoned as a 39, 40-year-old person.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to let them know that everything or the way that they're going about doing something is just wrong because they may do it differently. You know what I'm saying? So you can, you know, there's a way to say, hey, man, you know, learn how to code switch. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking, or learn how to, you know, dress suitable. If you're going to dress in a suit, wear this type of suit or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because when I'm on the continent, you know, I can have on a suit, I can have on traditional wear, I can have on regular street wear. And no one's looking at me any different. But if it depends on the occasion. If I'm like when I went to my formal introduction, I didn't have on a suit. I had on traditional wear.
Sure. Because that was appropriate for the moment, for the event.
That was appropriate for the moment, right? And I was, you know, I felt good, looked sharp in it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure you did.
I'm saying, and you know, my wife had on a traditional dress, and even with our official wedding, we had on, you know, I had on a suit in my official wedding. You know what I'm saying? And even in a traditional wedding, you're gonna have on, you know, traditional wear. You know, it depends on that particular tribe's traditional wear, and you know, they wear certain, you know, I guess jewelry and head ornaments and stuff like that. But my thing, that was my thing when it came to Kevin. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, who made you Godfather? Because they call him Godfather now. I'm like, who made you a Godfather? Like when we could say Bruce Lee is the Godfather of modern MMA, but you can go back and see that he invented a lot of these things, and he was doing these things before somebody even thought about it. You know what I'm saying? Or we can say that James Brown is the Godfather of soul. You know, we can look at it. We can say that NWA may be the Godfather of gangster rap. You know, you can say those things because you can see that they were the pioneers in that situation. You're not a pioneer if you stole somebody's stuff and just happen to get popular with it.
Wow.
That's my thing. So you shouldn't be Christian the Godfather. You know what I'm saying? You just a dude because you appeal a certain way, and like I said before, it is popular and it's easy to get wealthy pandering to black women or allowing black women's dysfunction to show.
Wow.
Right? Just like
that sounds like a show all in itself, man.
It is. You talking about
that sounds like
for
a
me?
show. Yeah, for you. Yeah, that sounds like a show. Unpack that a little bit more, you know what I mean? Because that's that's real heavy right there.
Right, and it's like, you know, I say I'm critical of, you know, you've heard certain things I said. I'm critical of our women, you know, in this particular part of the world, but at the same time, I'm not going to use them. You know, I'm not going to beat them down. You know, for me, if I don't want you as a wife, I'm not going to take your body. You know, so and African American women, their self-esteem is so low and their value system is so low at this point that they will go to a person like Kevin Samuels. And I mean, what woman wants to be told that you're not cute? who would? It's some women that I found extremely unattractive, but I wouldn't come out my mouth to say, "Hey, you're not cute." I might tell you, man, I don't think she's that not that. But man, and women's identity is mostly predicated upon the image, and that's not just a societal thing. This is, if you go back, this is from the beginning of time. Women, I'm just not just an America thing. Women have their value has always been their youth, their beauty, and their ability to produce children. So when you're telling somebody, okay, you are a 5, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's some hard stuff to tell a woman. But again, my thing was, if they're going to go to you and let you keep coming to them, then I'm not going to say anything about it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This, you know what I mean? So at what point does like choice, free will and choice, no one is, making these women call and subject themselves to that rating system and all of that. But
so I don't, yeah, exactly.
To what extent is his responsibility? You know what I mean? Like you're calling up my show,
right?
You know what I mean? So
it's like I can't knock the hustle. You know what I'm saying? Because you're feeding into it. If you wouldn't patronize this situation, he wouldn't be a millionaire. He's gotten rich. I'm telling you, you don't look good. But he's not the first person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Black women. Ishmael, I might change my show tonight. It might be something different.
You coming back on tonight?
Yeah, I'm coming back on tonight.
All right, so because I gotta hop off, man. But yeah, I'll be looking. I'll hop back on tonight if you'll have me. You know what I mean?
Man. Anytime you want to jump on,
we could build. We could build on some other whatever the topic's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a continuation of that. I do have, when it comes to Kevin Samuels and just like the manosphere and that space in general, like I do have some opinions on the function the function and the role that it serves. Questions about whether it's beneficial or whether it's harmful. You know what I mean? So if you're going to do a part 2 to that show, I definitely, would want to participate on that panel. But for now, I'm going to hop off and just continue to listen. I appreciate you letting me come in.
I'm finna bring it to the close anyway.
Oh, okay.
I kind of got way off.
No, but it sounds, you're talking geopolitics, you're talking economics, and that's a really, really important thing when it comes to the community, especially because things as we know them have changed forever. And I just think that the Black community, unfortunately, in many regards, is behind the 8 ball. And there's a great storm that's coming. And a lot of us are not prepared for it. We're not prepared for it. So the things that we're seeing across the world, the power moves and the power plays that these nations are making against one another. A lot of the backdoor type of deals and arrangements that are being made, monopolies when it comes to world finances and power. These things definitely will reverberate across all classes, and some classes are more vulnerable than others. So I'll check out the stream and see, where you were going with it, and throw some stuff in the comment section. But yeah, man, it's very serious, man. Like our people need to stop and think and really pay attention to what's happening, because it's really gonna hit. It's gonna hit those on the lower rungs a lot harder than it will those in the middle and the top.
Right. I'm blessed enough to where the gas prices don't even affect me.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't like it, but it ain't stopping my show.
Sure.
But I know that's not normal for African Americans. Like, most of us a lot of us are not in the economic, situation to where we can afford to be paying $70, $80 a fill up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you talking about that just reverberates. High energy prices reverberates to groceries going higher. All of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It trickles down. And so my thing is that I don't want people to be biased. don't look at this situation from a bias as to where your loyalty lies within one. Let me say how Ace Ventura said, "Y con su ocha" to the other, "Y con su ocha." You know what I'm saying? YouTube won't censor that one. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, your loyalty shouldn't lie there. You should always have a command and understanding, and be able to like dissect what is actually happening, so you know what proper moves to make to steer your family in the direction that it needs to go.
Absolutely.
And no matter where you are, okay, we're in a capitalistic society, or supposedly, but you said it right earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you have these artificial factors that are being put into play that's affecting the market. That's supposed to be the market. The market is supposed to naturally correct itself, but it's not. It can't when you're passing policies that are supposed to have the intended effect that they're supposed to have. You know, if you want energy prices to be lower, it's not rocket science, but they knew what they were doing, because, like I said to a person, he was talking about electric cars. I'm gonna let you go in a second, but they was talking about electric cars. I'm like, electric cars are still the cheapest electric car you can get right now is about $35,000, and then that's after the federal tax credit, right, of $7,500. But you ain't gonna see that until you file your taxes. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just to get in the door, and then not to mention the infrastructure that we need to support such a thing is still not in place, right?
Absolutely
and so
not.
Most people don't buy brand new cars. Most people are buying, and people from our community are buying used cars because that's what they can afford. So what are you going to tell these people that can't afford to go out here and finance a car, don't have the credit to finance a car? What are you going to tell those people when they need to get a car, a $2,000-$3,000 car, and gas prices are still $80-$90 a fill up? You know what I'm saying? Those are things to where, it was a poorly thought out thing by the administration. All right. They didn't foresee certain things happening. It happened. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, because I'm not a Trump fan, because Trump, what he did, and this is the thing that people don't realize, Donald Trump's policies directly affected my wife and I and caused us to be separated for 2 years. She was on the continent, and it would have took her 6 to 10 months to be here. I know a friend that married a Ghanaian girl, and she, within 5 months, immigration got back to her.
Yeah, those immigration policies, banning African countries and different, other countries, and that was harmful, man. Sudan was on the list, so
Sudan and Nigeria was on the list. You see what I'm saying? So it was so it's like I'm not a fan of Donald Trump at all, but I recognize policy that, and I knew why he was doing what he was doing, but I knew he was in over his head doing what he was doing, and then he had a white supremacist advising him about these policies. Right? But when you go cold turkey on something like Joe Biden did, okay, we do need to reduce our footprint as oil footprint, and do need to switch to cleaner burning fuels and all the other stuff, right? But you can't just make the average American suffer because you feel that way. You can't do that, because if you just go cold turkey, the people at the bottom and the middle are going to feel it more than anything. You at the top, you ain't got to worry about it.
But isn't that always the case, though? Mm-hmm. Isn't that always the case? Aren't policies made without consideration of how it's going to affect the lower class groups? You know what I mean? Dems and Republicans do that. Mm-hmm. Like
they both do it.
They both do it, just in different ways. The sleight of hand is different for each of them, but there's very little deviation between their empathy when it comes to the impact that it's going to have on those people who are not upper middle class, wealthy, and rich or whatever. So yeah. But yeah, man. So I'll be looking out for the I'm gonna get back on. I'll be looking out for the next.
Well, I'm gonna come back on. I'm gonna come back on around 8 tonight.
You're on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm in Central Time.
You're Central Time. All right, so you're like an hour difference.
Right. Yeah, it'll be about 9 your time.
All right, cool. All right, so I look forward to that, man.
Okay, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. Congratulations again, man. I smile.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
All right, man. All right, be blessed.
All right, you too.
All right. Okay. So, sorry about the sidebar. But, getting back to one of the things that I was saying, and I'm getting ready to bring this stream to a close, is that most Americans and most black Americans don't have any working knowledge of what's they're only going off of what they're being told, and everybody is selling you a lie because they have an agenda. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I need to tell you in order for you to be able to get into office, and when I get in office, I'm gonna want to do what I want to do. This energy policy could only affect the lowest earning or the average earning Americans. It wasn't going to affect the highest earning Americans. It wasn't going to do that, right? And I do agree with the Biden administration that we should get off of foreign oil. We should get off of fossil fuels, period. But we could have been done that, okay? But it's been too much politicking going on, right? I didn't agree with Donald Trump ending Obama's CAF standards. I didn't, because, you know, whatever was moving us in the right direction, let's keep going in that direction. But I also don't agree with we going cold turkey and say we're gonna stop, you know, producing as much oil as we can produce, because when we do that, we know that the market is going to say, who do you think is getting rich right now? Who do you think is getting rich because of the oil prices are sky high? It's almost like a indirect exchange of wealth. For one, I don't believe our natural resources should be privatized. I don't know what sovereign country would privatize their national resources. That makes little to no sense to me. Every other country around the world, their natural resources, even if they're paying independent companies to refine the oil and stuff, they have direct control of their natural resources. We're the only ones that have outsourced our national resources to private companies. The BPs, the Exxons, all of those, the Shells. We've privatized our national resources. That shouldn't be something that should happen, because you're leaving your citizens at the mercy of private companies. But that's capitalism. That's what they say is capitalism. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that shouldn't happen. But at the same time, we knew back in 2007 and 2008. Matter of fact, we learned back in the 60s when the oil embargo happened. Right? And that's why we started adding like 10 million barrels of oil a day. You know what I'm saying? Just in case the Middle East decide, you know what, we're going to punish you again, because we knew that there was a reliance on foreign oil back then. Remember when the oil embargo happened, when that was the end of the muscle car? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because they had to go to smaller, more fuel efficient engines and stuff like that. We knew this stuff 50, 60 years ago, but we did nothing about it because there were too many people, too many, they call Russian oligarchs, but too many wealthy elites in the country getting rich off oil. That's why they didn't want to do anything about it. When they came out with all these alternative fuel sources, these biofuels, E85, ethanol is easy to manufacture. Ethanol can be manufactured out of almost anything. Corn, sugarcane, trash. You can almost do it out of anything. But they knew back then, and they didn't do anything about it. The only reason why the government is talking about electric cars and all this other stuff is because Elon Musk came along and made his own money, took his own money and built his own company and made the electric car more viable. He started the infrastructure when it comes to electric cars. Tesla did, not the United States government. Where was Joe Biden? He been in the Senate, since forever. He the one passed the crime bills that affected Black America. Where was he then when it came to energy policies? So I'm not trying to hear, I don't understand. I do understand. I understand more than most of you people understand. Especially more than you jokers that think that because I'm only 39, 40 years old, that I don't know just as much as you do, when actually I have more command over the things than you do, because I'm seeing it right now. I'm seeing it happening while you're retiring. I'm having to go into it. So yes, policies have been passed that directly affect the oil prices. And the president of the United States did that. And maybe you should educate yourself before you come trying to insult me. But that's all I got to say about this matter. I'm bringing this video to a close. Thank you guys for tuning in, and shalom, shalom, shalom.